felt this way. While we may shudder in the moment, we ultimately shake it off, taking solace in the fact that we are fundamentally okay, right here and right now. We're not suffering oppressive tyranny right now. Society isn't collapsing right now at this very moment. Our governments are slow to act and sometimes fail to do right by us, but we're not dying because of it. We aren't dying from relationships that seem to exist only as tests of will, as emotional roller coasters. There are things wrong with the world, with our country, with our work, and with ourselves, but we're okay. Right here and right now, we're okay. No, we're not okay. Sure, we aren't facing imminent death, but for most of us, life is far from perfect. Almost none of us, less than 5%, strongly agree with this statement. I am completely satisfied with my life. In fact, even if you combine this 5% with the next highest rating, that number is still only around 15%. That's fewer than 2 out of 10 of us. This finding isn't so surprising when you think about how we divide up our days. Research shows the majority of us believe that we aren't allocating the right amount of time between family, friends, and work. Solving this problem isn't as simple as time management. It is more deeply rooted. As a society, we are losing the sense of one of the most important principles in our lives, all because we've simply fallen out of practice. The principle that binds us together is loyalty. Without us noticing it, the world has shifted from a society of many long-term loyalties to a society of transactional relationships and ephemeral contacts. This is a natural byproduct of the increasingly dynamic economic environment in which we live. We have become more flexible and more mobile workers, which has made businesses more efficient. And this has given us greater opportunities to succeed, making us wealthier. But it has also made us less loyal. Because successful organizations are built on relationships, this actually isn't good for business. And it isn't good for us as individuals either. It definitely has not made us happier. Times have changed. Historically, loyalty wasn't optional. Ostracism represented the ultimate disgrace. Why would early settlers in the American colonies tolerate public humiliation, such as being put on display in medieval stocks? Why not simply leave the group? Because leaving was even more unpalatable. It meant no support, emotionally or physically, from the community. And no support most likely meant an early death. But times have changed dramatically. Leaving the group seldom risks one's survival today. The prosperity of the modern era has also provided us with greater opportunities. These opportunities bring with them the greater likelihood that we will shift our loyalties in search of greener pastures. As a result, leaving the group has become the increasingly popular option when we object to the actions or positions in a community. Columbia University law professor George P. Fletcher observes, "In the marketplace, where all that is at stake is the performance of the product or the quality of the service, the best thing to do is leave. That is, to find the competitor who better supplies the needed good. The exemplar of the marketplace has conquered neighboring arenas. Today, we think about relatives, employers, religious groups, and nations the way we think about companies that supply us with other products and services. If we don't like what we are getting, we consider the competition." Without question, voting with your feet is the ultimate punishment that we as individuals can exact on a community. It actually threatens the viability of any society. If enough people leave, the group is forced to change, disintegrate, or, in the worst cases, hold people hostage. This last was the case in East Germany. The loss of so many of its citizens caused the government to erect the Berlin Wall, not to keep enemies out, but to force its citizens to stay. While we often think of leaving in economic, customer-to-company, or political, government-to-citizen relationships, the possibility of leaving applies to some degree to our relationships with everyone. Weak friendships, dysfunctional families, bad marriages, intolerant religious institutions, and inept governments all face the prospect of abandonment. And there are indeed times when leaving is the best option.